And welcome to the Main Event Sports Show. I'm your host, Haven Harrington. This is my man, the green-eyed bandit himself, Rashawn. Hey, ladies, do not look into his green eyes. I'm telling you, just don't do it.
What's up, people? Big ups to Brooklyn.
Don't look at his green eyes, lady. Don't do it. Hypnotize you. This is my man, Rashawn Myers, over here. And we're coming to you live from the Old Louisville Pizza Pub here in the heart of Old Louisville, Kentucky. We're here at 1st and Oak Street, right there in the corner. You can't miss us. Come on out. Have some fun with us, talk a little sports, drink a little OFO. For those who don't know, it's OFO. It's to have some pizza, get the wings, especially the naked wings with the rub. I'm telling you, get the wings.
Ooh, good eating.
Get the wings, man. We're having a great time. As you can tell, we've been here all day. It's now night. We're still here having a good time. But you know what? I think for the next 10, 15 minutes, it's my favorite time of year, football. This is like pre-football season. It's like everybody's excited. Everybody's undefeated. Everybody thinks their team has a chance to go undefeated.
Hope springs eternal, man.
That's right. Everybody thinks that you can make it to a national championship game, or at least going to make it to they make it to a bowl game last year, going to make it to a bowl game this year. You got new freshmen on campus. Your players are a year older in the system. Everybody's geeked up. So, we're going to talk a little bit about the first game of the season for University of Louisville.
Who would that be, Haven?
University of Louisville, Alabama, September 1st, Camping World Classic down in Orlando, Florida. Of course, we'll be there on hand, talk about the game, bring you all the great coverage, so you don't want to miss it. So, we're excited about that. And I kind of want to talk to you about kind of spring practice, fall practice, and what's going on with the team. But, let's kind of fast forward fall practice a little bit. I know we're kind of getting ahead of ourselves, but I can't help it because, as you guys probably know if you listen to the radio show, which comes on 104.7 FM, WLOU, is that I just came back from Tallahassee.
Yes.
From Tallahassee, Florida, the home of Willie Taggart in Florida State.
Yes. And
you have to drive to Alabama. So as I was coming to Alabama, I got a great opportunity to sit there and talk to a lot of local folks and to, really talk about the Louisville-Alabama game and kind of what's going on and what do they think about Louisville's chances against Alabama, what Alabama fans thought about Alabama's chances against Louisville. And I kind of want to talk about that right now. We'll come back. Just stay tuned. Subscribe to YouTube channel because we will come back and talk about, fall camp for both U of L and UK and IU and the Purdue and all local teams. We'll do that. But let's kind of preview this first game of the season. Now, I find interesting, okay, so we're playing the best team in college football, Alabama. That's okay. Alabama apparently there's a controversy right now with the quarterbacks. Jalen Hurts has come out upset.
Apparently, Jalen Hurts said it ain't even a controversy. He said that literally that nobody from the coaching staff has talked to him like the whole spring and most of the summer. Nobody said anything to him like at all. Like they haven't even talked to him. So, he said it's a controversy, but the way he looks at it, now they're trying to come up to me as fall camp's getting ready to start going. He said at this point it's too late. Like, basically everybody's up there talking to Tua and they're pounding around with Tua and having conversations with him. And basically, you basically threw me out with the bathwater, basically. And for a guy who's done as much winning as Jalen Hurts has over his 3 years at Alabama,
he should be salty.
Absolutely.
He should be salty.
There's a lot. I know everybody always says that they like to rationalize things, and when you're undefeated, everybody has those undefeated muscles, and and you start to try to rationalize ways in which the game can be closer than the pundits think. And I find myself doing the same thing because there are just so many things and so many markers. It's almost like that movie, The Great White Hype. And how you see the champ, and the champ ain't really training, and he's out of shape, and he's eating ice cream, and he doesn't care. He's like, I can beat this guy with my eye closed. And you see the other guy, in the gym, train as hard as he can. He has a history of beating them from back in the day, like Louisville beat Alabama back in '90. And there's just all these things, and I hate to say it, Ava, but I'm buying into some of the Kool-Aid. Not necessarily saying that I think Louisville's going to win, but I'm starting to believe that they're going to have a shot because I just feel as if Alabama they aren't paying attention. They're not keeping their eye on the ball. You have a quarterback controversy. You have an Alabama defense that's replacing every starter in the secondary. Bobby Petrino has maybe the best wide receiver core in the ACC, possibly in the nation, returning this year. You just see where there's an opportunity for a lot of things to be taken advantage of. You have Tua Tagovailoa, who did have a great half of football, but as a young player, you wonder about him now that somebody has some tape on him. When he starts to go through these struggles, will those struggles happen in that first game? I'm starting to see a lot of things to where maybe Louisville has a shot.
Wow, really?
That's what I feel it. Like, I feel myself getting excited.
You should get excited.
The closer this game gets to the Camping World kickoff, I think Louisville might be able to bring, bring some magic to the field in Orlando. It's Orlando. It's the home of magic. The Magic Kingdom is there.
But he should be excited. I mean, you got Bobby Petrino, probably like the greatest offensive mind. Let me back that up. One of the greatest offensive minds in college football. You have a healthy running back core. You're going to have a balanced passing/running attack. Last year, it was all Lamar Jackson running the ball. This year, you got Dave Williams back healthy. You have Colin Wilson healthy. You have a bevy of running backs that you can rotate in and out, keep them fresh, good, hard, big runners that can punish the defensive line. They can get stronger as the game goes along. Like you said, you got the best wide receiver core, and if not the ACC, maybe even the country, with Dez Fitzpatrick, Jalen Smith, who had appendectomy surgery. Yes. He should be back in time for Alabama. You got Dawkins and all those guys there. In the secondary, this could be Louisville's most talented secondary. Rajay Burns.
PJ Bannister.
Yeah, I mean
you have Russ Yeast back. Apparently Cornelius Sturgis looked really good, even though I've been hearing this Cornelius Sturgill stuff for 2 years now, and all I saw was a lot of French toast last year. But people are talking about Cornelius Sturgill. He's ready. You have Jarius Brents. Who's
just really impressing folks.
Absolutely.
Really impressing folks.
So, you have Chandler Jones, a freshman, a true freshman, 5'10" cornerback. He's been a guy who's been impressive. Anthony Johnson, who redshirted last year. Telly Plummer, another cornerback who redshirted last year.
And on top of that, we can't forget about the tight ends.
Absolutely. You got Kamari Averett.
Mickey Crum. Top-notch tight ends.
Jordan Davis, the transfer from Texas A&M, a former four-star.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Who's eligible. All the pieces are there. If you look at all the starters.
The Louisville offense is where all the superstars lie. Like, there's a lot of superstars on that offense. The offense is loaded at every position. You look.
Louisville's secondary is loaded.
Yeah.
It's loaded with talent and speed. And then you have your defensive line. You got the transfer from Oklahoma.
That's right. Yeah, you got it. And PJ Bannister, the transfer at cornerback, 6'1", almost 6'2" cornerback.
That's another transfer
great size
for the defensive line.
South Carolina. Boosie Whitlow. Yeah. You got Boosie Whitlow transferring in. He's going to be eligible. You're going to have – and my thing is this, is that with the first game of the year, you're going to be as healthy as you have been. So rather than having to play Alabama at the end of the year when you're beat up, a lot of guys are hurt. Everybody's going to be as healthy as they can be. Everybody's going to be fresh. This is going to be the opportunity. If you wanted to beat Bama or have the best situation, you have Bobby Petrino, the mad scientist, with a full offseason to prepare to, get that defense off balance and use his patented play calling and schematic, wizardry to try to, devise a plan to best.
But this is it.
Nick Saban.
This is it.
And Petrino has had success against Nick Saban in the past. Now, he did not beat Saban while he was at Alabama, but there were at least two games. There was at least 2 games at Arkansas where Petrino basically gave Saban all he wanted. And that was with a less talented Arkansas team than what he has here at Louisville right now. So, I hate it because it feels like it's one of those things where it does. It feels like I'm scared. I'm afraid that I'm starting to feel good. But the closer it gets, especially with Alabama, seems distracted. They seem distracted.
I'm trying out. What you're afraid of
Yes.
is being like Charlie Brown with Lucy.
That's football.
Pull the ball out from underneath you at the last minute.
Like, I don't want to be Florida State to come in and think,
we got this.
This is a preview of the national championship game.
And they hurt everybody. They knock out your quarterback, knock out a defensive lineman.
It was like that scene in The Longest Yard where all the inmates beat up all the guards on the first play. As soon as they snapped it, they just beat them all up and left them laying out on the ground. Yeah. Like, that's what it feels like. And I am afraid that I am slowly but surely getting excited for this game. Like, it's every Louisville fan is basically said we're going to get killed, or we know it's not going to be good. You know, we're worried about the other 11 games. We know that we're going to lose this game. And it's gone from we know that we're going to lose this game and only another.
We got a chance. We got a chance.
Hope is starting to spring
Bobby said it's the fastest team he's ever had.
Yes.
We got a chance. But you know what? Let me kind of give it conversely.
I'm scared, Haven.
Let me give you things maybe from Alabama perspective. I'm talking to the folks that when I was coming through Huntsville and Montgomery and Birmingham and kind of talking to the Bama fans. They think we don't have a chance. They think Bobby can keep it close because he's a great coach.
Yes.
He's a great offensive mind. Mm-hmm. Maybe for the first 2.5, maybe even 3 quarters, Louisville will be able to keep it close. They don't think that our defensive line can hold up to their running backs and to their offensive line. That they're going to pound us and pound us and pound us.
That's a good bet.
They're going to get tired.
You got 4 or 5 first-round linemen on that team.
They're not sure how deep our defensive line is. Can we rotate and keep them healthy? And if not, if we have to commit linebackers and Tua does start, could they start picking apart our linebacker core?
Let's just split the whole. For me, the way it sounds to me, if you see Jalen Hurts, it's only going to be in like gadget plays. Like, I hate to say that for my man Jalen that's done so much for Alabama and only has like 2 losses as a starter.
Well, you know, here's the thing. But you watch Alabama games, it's like Alabama was winning despite.
Hurts didn't turn the ball over.
He didn't.
They played a very conservative, defensive, run-the-ball style of play.
SEC style play. Run. Throw when we have to.
Can Alabama be as effective playing that wide-open style when you're taking chances? When Tua Tagovailoa, who threw an interception, he threw two picks.
He threw 2 picks.
In a half of football.
And they still won.
But my thing is, Alabama has never really had that high-scoring offense. Even when A.J. McCarron was the quarterback, it was more or less A.J. was given, carte blanche to make plays on 3rd down, sometimes second down if it dictated when he was a junior and senior. But it was always more of let's just run the ball, play behind our big hog mollies and just kind of live with that. Like Tua Tagovailoa is a whole different type of quarterback. Are they willing to commit to a offense that is not going to be friendly to that defense?
I still think you're going to see Alabama as a 60-40 team.
Are they going to be? Because we saw Alabama with the 4 wide receiver spread look. And that's not something that we've really ever seen from Alabama.
Because
are we going to see that?
See, this is the genius of Nick Saban.
Yes.
And this is why I say Nick Saban is the greatest football coach of all time. You name me a football coach that pulls your starter at halftime. A man who's only lost, as you said, 2 games in 2 years.
3 years.
3 years. They got you to the national championship.
Won a title
already. And you pull him for a guy who's only took like 1 snap.
No, a dude had never played before. They burned his red shirt in the national championship game. To win. Yes.
What other college football coach, or even pro coach, would have done that?
If I was Tua, I still might be a little. I know he won the championship, but I still might be a little salty that I burned a full red shirt year on one.
No, look,
I don't know how to feel about that.
You won a national championship.
You did
you submitted yourself in Alabama folklore.
You did. That's weird.
Alabama's going to lose that game.
Yeah, they were.
If Jalen Hurts played the second half, Alabama would have lost that game.
I agree.
Georgia was giving them the business.
I agree.
Giving them the business. And Tua came out there slinging. Like he's Broadway Joe. He was Joe Namath.
He was.
And he showed you, like, look, Alabama's always had great receivers. Like, it's like LSU has great receivers, but nobody could ever give them the ball. It's like you never know how good these guys really are because they only get like 3 catches a year.
Yeah, and that's going to be the thing. Alabama has had a stalwart at wide receiver the last 3 years. He's now gone to the NFL. He was the first wide receiver taken, so they're going to be replacing him. I believe they have his little brother.
No, it doesn't matter.
But I mean, that's the whole thing, though. You have inexperienced at receiver, you have inexperienced at quarterback.
It doesn't matter. I'm gonna tell you why it doesn't matter. Clemson last year replaced their entire defensive line. Their entire defensive line got drafted last year.
Will they be clicking? Will that offense be clicking? Because Bobby Petrino, if Bobby Petrino can score, which I think Bobby Petrino, even against Alabama's defense, is going to be able to put up some points. Can Alabama score? Like, will all those guys be clicking the first game? And that's the thing. Is like
the defense.
It's going to come to me, and you say what you will. Alabama lives off other teams' mistakes. They basically turn every turnover into 7 points. That's where they live off of. Every time they turn over, they're housing it either when the defense gets the pick or the fumble, or they're going to score shortly after. That's how Alabama has made their hay since Saban has been there. They take advantage of other teams' mistakes. They don't wow you with big-time offensive numbers. They don't wow you with, a crazy scheme or these crazy offensive players. All they do is play secure, turnover-free football, and when they make mistakes, they make you pay.
They punish you.
So that's going to be the thing. For Louisville is going to be taking care of the football.
Which has not been a Louisville hallmark.
Running the football.
Which also has not been a Louisville hallmark.
And playing some defense. Like playing some defense.
Now that Peter Sirmon's not there.
Louisville had the worst defense in the Power 5 last year, in my opinion.
Well, that's Peter Sirmon's just a straight trash. I mean, Peter Sirmon's horrible. We got Van Gorder. Now, once again, here's the question mark. We don't know what type of defensive coordinator Van Gorder is going to be.
Louisville's only returning 5 starters from last year's defense.
When Van Gorder was at Georgia, he had great defenses.
Yes.
That's Georgia and Georgia talent. When he was at Notre Dame, granted, he was only at Notre Dame for 1 year.
Yes.
Their defense was horrible. They let Charlie Strong in Texas run all up and down the field on him. Charlie Strong at Texas. Now, Charlie Strong at South Florida has a really good offense. Charlie Strong at Texas.
Right.
Run up and down that Notre Dame defense. That defense is pitiful. Pitiful.
But, I will say
Notre Dame. But
I will say that's a Notre Dame where a lot of those guys get overrated.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's a Notre Dame. When he was at Georgia with real SEC athletes.
In my opinion, this Louisville team, yes, they have a lot of guys that, are quote-unquote unproven, but I feel as if this defense has a ton of talent. We've already talked about the talent in the secondary, and when you look at some of the guys at the linebacker core, a lot of those guys are converted 4-star safeties that they've moved down a spot to linebacker. I like those guys like P.J. Blue. I think are going to be very good on the edge with Dorian Etheridge there in the middle. And I love the defensive line starters. I love Mike Boykin. Gigi Robinson is a guy who has always been expected to be a breakout player. He's going to have to step up. I like Boosie Whitlow as a transfer, and we already know what Jonathan Grenard is going to give you. So I think that there is a lot of talent on this defense. I don't think if Van Gorder's scheme is going to work, it's going to be because there's lack of talent. And everybody continues to say, I hear the same issues with Van Gorder's defense that I heard about Grantham. All we heard about Grantham when Petrino first came in is Georgia fans hated him because they said his scheme was too complicated. He's too aggressive. He's over-aggressive on third downs, and it gets his team burned from time to time. They used to be fuss about third and Grantham. And we saw some of that third and Grantham stuff while Todd was here, but I also saw a top 10 defense every year he was here at the helm, and his aggressive scheme and style, it was never too overly complicated for the team, and they took to it very well, and I think that it's going to happen.
Actually, the defense under Todd Grantham won us games.
The defense was by far the best unit every year that Todd Grantham was here. It was much better than the offense every year Todd Grantham was here. Literally.
Easy. And, to me, it's when you play Alabama, it comes down to one thing and one thing only, the trenches.
Yeah.
It comes down to the lines. Mm-hmm. It comes down to your offensive line against their defensive line and your defensive line against their offensive line. That's what it's going to come down to. That's where Clemson has excelled when they play against Alabama, because Dabo Swinney has made recruiting defensive linemen a priority, number one.
Yes.
Then number 2, he recruits offensive linemen, and then they recruit skill players.
Yes.
Because that's, if you want to beat Alabama, you gotta beat them in the trenches.
So it is. It's gonna be
come down
about
to those trenches. I'm gonna tell you right now, with Puma being his first year starting, going against probably the number 1 team in the nation.
Yeah.
They're gonna put. I'm not sure they're gonna blitz them. I think they're gonna see if they can get pressure.
Who's that? Louisville?
Alabama. I think if Alabama can get pressure with their front 4 or front 5. They'll stay with that. But if they have to blitz,
yeah, I mean that's always been Alabama though. Alabama's always been able to get pressure with their front 4,
it's just,
and just man up everywhere else and just bully you. They just play bully ball, you know, and that's going to be the thing, you know, that they're going to do.
We got a Louisville fan out here, yeah.
But you know, I think that's going to be the thing is. Can Louisville's offensive line stand up? We've already seen that the starters are going to be. They've named Cole Bentley the starter at center. I think that's an excellent move for them. Lucas McNeil, Mekhi Becton. That's going to be your power right side of the line. And then, you know, on the opposite side, you're going to have Linwood Foy at the tackle, and you're going to have the other transfer, JUCO kid at guard, at left guard. I like the offensive line. They're big. They average about 310, 315 pounds.
And they got a great coach, and Mike Cassidy, who coached at Florida, who knows Nick Saban.
And like I said, everybody's healthy. Everybody's healthy. You have no excuses. You got to get it done.
To me, for Louisville to win this game,
yes,
you're going to have to spread Alabama out.
Yeah.
You're going to have to go 4 to 5 wide and sling it. Because Alabama does not like teams that play up-tempo and they can sling it. That's why they keep losing to Mississippi State.
Yeah.
Mississippi State gives them a trouble every year because they go 4 or 5 wide and shotgun and they sling it. And then he hits you these quick runners, which are the fast running backs every now and then. They kind of keep the defense honest, but they just keep slinging it and putting pressure on Alabama's secondary. Yeah. And kind of slow down their rush because the ball's out their hands quick.
You got to move the chains. You got to be able to make Alabama respect the run. If you can make Alabama respect the run, if you can use Trey Smith, Day Williams, as well as Colin Wilson, and make them respect the run, and you can get 3, 4, 5 yards on those carries and make those linebackers have to creep up a little bit, then Bobby Petrino has you right where he wants you because then he can play action. You have the tight ends. You have big receivers that, can take advantage of one-on-one matchups. Jalen Smith might be the best wide receiver on the field in that game. I know Alabama has some talent, but there's nobody with the numbers and the consistency that Jalen Smith has shown on that Alabama sideline yet. So, I mean, it's going to be all about taking care of the ball, moving the chains on third downs, and getting off the field defensively on third downs.
Because you don't want Alabama to get like 3 or 4 first downs running the ball and punt. 3 or 4 first downs running the ball and punt. Because I'm telling you, if they're getting 3 or 4 first downs.
That field position game.
One, you got that field position game. But 2, they're most likely running it about 60 to 70% of the time.
Right.
And they're wearing you down.
Yeah, you can't. That was Louisville's big issue last year under Peter Sirmon was that too consistently on first down, Sirmon's defense was giving up 6 to 7 yards on the run on first down. And when you're second and short, you're consistently in second and third or second and 3, second and 4,
it's too easy.
It's too hard to stop, to get those 2 stops. And you won't win against Alabama if you're giving 6 or 7 yards up on the run. Louisville's got to have to show that they can stop the Alabama running game because I don't care how good Tua Tagovailoa is, and I don't care how great he was throwing the ball down the field. Nick Saban's going to run the football.
If you can't stop doing it against Alabama, you might as well just wave the white flag.
Yeah.
Because it's
But the tough thing is going to be, Haven, is if they do come out in that spread and you have to commit to spreading your defense out. And it's going to be up to your defensive line.
And you got them monster backs.
Yeah.
And your defensive line has to hold their own water.
Your defensive line is going to have to hold their own, and they're probably only going to be able to commit 2 linebackers to the run. That's a scary proposition. I mean, because Alabama is one of the only teams that can probably go 4 wide receivers and still run power better than almost anybody in the nation. They have one offensive lineman that's worth like 2 dudes. He's going to smash the first guy and then chip off and get the second guy too.
It's going to be interesting. Louisville has a chance.
Yeah.
Nobody thought we could beat them in 90 in the Fiesta Bowl. Everybody thought that would never happen.
Yeah.
and we destroyed Alabama. Alabama.
Nobody saw that coming. Gene Stallings still has not gotten over that loss.
He has not, but that's Gene Stallings. This is the greatest football coach of all time, and Nick Saban.
Well, we'll see. And I know it's still too early to give any prognostication, but I thought that with the opening of camp and so many things swirling around that, Louisville fans, I just want to tell you, it's all right to get excited. You're truly starting to get excited.
You should be excited because you do have a chance.
Yeah.
You're going to see, I believe, a Louisville offense we probably have not seen since 2004. And I think the 2004 team
was the best.
Is the best Louisville team of all time.
Yeah.
Followed by Charlie Strong's 2013 team.
Yes.
That's the second best team of all time.
Yes.
Sorry, Mario. Yeah, I know you're a good friend of mine. I hate to put your team as third, 86 team, but I think you guys are third.
I agree. That 04 team was Shelton and Gates.
Yeah, 4 NFL running backs.
Shelton, Gates, Bush.
Kirby,
Kobe Smith.
Kobe Smith. Look at Kirby.
Just unbelievable bevy of running backs. You had great offensive weapons. You had Montrell Jones on that team. You had Josh, Josh, Greg, whoever you want to call him, Tench. You had Barnage. You had Ronnie Gent.
J.R. Russell.
You had J.R. Russell. Just an embarrassment of talents.
Defense, you had 3 NFL starters on that defense.
Yes.
Okoye.
You had Amobi Okoye on that team. Doomerville was on that team.
Montavious Stanley.
Yes, Montavious on that team as well.
And the secondary, you had 2 NFL Pro Bowlers in secondary.
Yeah.
With Kerry Rhodes and Gay.
Yeah, big play Will Gay. When you just go down the list of how many great players was on that 04 team.
But you can argue the 2013 team, it's a different topic, but you can argue 2013 team may have been more talented because they had more first-round picks.
Yeah, Marcus Smith, Teddy Bridgewater, you had the safety.
Calvin Pryor.
You had Lorenzo Malden. We'll have to save that. Coming to your next show.
Which Cardinal team is your favorite? Which you think is the best? Matter of fact, leave it into discussion below.
Yes.
Also discuss below. Tell us who you got. Alabama, Louisville. Why?
Are you getting excited?
If you're not a Louisville fan, why aren't you excited? Puma Pass. You're going to have, like I said, this could be the best offense since 2004. You're going to have a balanced attack. Lamar Jackson was great, but we didn't get the best out of Brandon Radcliffe and the running backs when they were healthy that we had. Now you're going to actually see Bob, I think, go back to a very balanced attack with all our running backs, with the wide receivers and the tight ends and the skill positions. This offense is going to be great to watch. I think we are going to score some points. We're going to score some points. How many points, I don't know, but we're going to score at least 14, 21 points against Alabama. Can they keep up? Can Van Gorder be the difference maker? He's a question mark. If Van Gorder is anywhere near as good as Todd Grantham, yes, Louisville actually can win this game and will shock the world. Like Muhammad Ali, I shook up the world. I'm telling you. Louisville beats Alabama. We were completely in week 1 of college football. Upset the apple cart. It'll be chaos and pandemonium from week 1.
All I know is that
Think about that for a second.
Bobby Petrino will be back if that happens.
If we beat Alabama, this will dispel a whole bunch of things about Bobby Petrino that people are saying in the press. He's only beaten 1 top 25 team since he's been back.
Yeah.
He's, I think, only beating like 2 teams with a winning record or something crazy.
You beat King Saban, man. It rewrites everything.
Everything changes. I'm telling you, Clemson's on notice. FSU's on notice. It can get real fast. But that's what you want when you're in the ACC. This is what you want.
This is why you love being in the ACC, because regardless, unlike being in the AAC or the Big East, where you basically had to have a 2 or 3 dominant run to have that 1 year where you can have a chance. In the ACC, regardless of what your team looked like coming in, regardless you have an opportunity to do it on the field.
Got your chance.
And if you go undefeated, or if you have 1 loss and you win your side of the ACC Atlantic, you have a shot at the Final Four, at the playoff. And that's why you want to be in the ACC. And that's why it doesn't matter what you thought coming into the season. It doesn't matter how down you are. You have an opportunity to win your way there. And that is a great position to be in, and that's why it's awesome that Louisville's in the ACC.
Hey, you know what? I'm about to tune in. Before they tune in, I think the next time we do this show, we may have to do it like facing the glass here, so you guys can see behind us. We can't. So there was a lady here with a Louisville jersey who was giving us the L's up. I just believe when she got over here off cameras, like showed us her bra. I mean, she was like, "Yeah, U of L," and I'm like, "Hey, the bra matches the U of L jersey. Hey, L's up." The things you see in old Louisville, folks, I'm telling you, that's why you want to come down and tune into Maven Sports Show. Hey, let's have a discussion in the comment section. Don't forget to hit subscribe. Go to MavenSports101.com and go ahead and click on the website there. Download the app. Sign up for the newsletter. Come and hang out with us here at the Old Pizza Pub. And we're so happy to be back. We took like a month-long vacation, but we're so happy to be back. We got so many things, so many giveaways coming up. We got so many special announcements coming up and so many special guests that are going to be in the studio, especially as football season breaks in. We got some football guys from both play for UK going to come and hang out with us, break down the Cats, got some former Cards, or break down the Cards, talk about Purdue, IU, Ohio State. We're going to go college football to the wall between here and September 1st. So definitely tune in. We'll have a great time. Hey, without you, this could not happen.